January the 4th, 2013, and got all the spot welds drilled out. Front part of the fender cut away. It's all loose. I just have to make my cut along the line where I want to cut it. So you can see this is dirty business. A lot of old dirt and rust up in between those inner and outer fender. But making fair headway. Go ahead and mark my line off where I want to cut it. Cut along there and pull that lower piece away. I've just cut the lower left rear fender off. You can see what shape the fender was in. Getting pretty well rusted. Can have a lot of rebuilding to do up along the edges. The top is rusted out. Back in here, it's all rusted out. Bottom is pretty much gone. So I have to make some new plates to weld on there. Here I am, Friday, January the 11th. And this morning, actually, I'll show you what it looks like outside. It's a cold, nasty January day outside. I'm in here where it's nice and toasty. My nice shop. And I'm trying to fit, I've already put one patch plate in here in the fender well, and I've filled all this in with new steel back to solid base. So that's all in place. I've got this piece in, welded, mostly welded in. I'm fitting a piece to go in here. And it's getting pretty close. It's just a little too straight along this section here. I need to curve this back a little bit like this. I'm going to take it over here. The metal shrinker. And tweak it just a little bit. Doesn't take much. And that might be just about enough. It just shrinks that metal in there and just brings that around. I think that's pretty good. Now I'll just clamp that on, weld it in place along here like I did this one, and I'll build a new bump out plate here, replace this pad, and then go ahead and rebuild all of that section down there and trailing towards the back end. Still trying to fill in this fender well. I've formed a part here to fill in this rusted out area where I've cut it out. I'm just about ready to clamp this part in, tack weld it in place. I've cut this all out back to solid metal. I've just tack welded my last piece on here on the inner fender. See, that's going to go to the back end there. Pretty well matches in. Got the rest of the fender well rebuilt back up to solid, clean material. Built the bump outs in them to hold the outer fender out away from it. as soon as I finish welding this piece on solid, I'll come back and grind them all up and dress them up. It'll be ready to prime. It is Sunday, January the, 13th. And I think I've about got the left rear quarter panel ready to tack in place. Got all the blind fasteners spotted. Got all my spot welds marked. I'll pull it off and drill all those through. And you can see here where I had to split this section here about 1/4 to 5/16 of an inch on top down to a V and pull it back together and weld it together again because the rear splash panel wasn't fitting. So I had to widen that out a little bit, or move that out a little bit. Everything else seems to be lining up pretty good, I think. Starting to collect a little shop patina in here from all the metal work. Time I get that done, it'll be good to clean it up and get back to final sanding. Still have to replace the radiator support.